Deep in the Amazon rainforest, where danger lurks in every shadow, a tiny creature has developed an unbelievable survival trick. Meet the Hemeroplanes triptolamus, a caterpillar with a disguise so convincing it can send even the boldest predators running. At first glance it looks harmless, blending into leaves and branches. But when it feels threatened, something incredible happens. In an instant the caterpillar puffs up its body, rearranging its shape to reveal markings and textures that make it look just like a venomous snake. Its head transforms, scales seem to appear, and dark spots create the illusion of menacing eyes staring back. If that's not enough, it even mimics the movement of a snake, rearing up and striking as if ready to bite. For predators like birds, this illusion is terrifying. A tasty little caterpillar suddenly turns into what looks like a lethal reptile. Most attackers hesitate just long enough for the caterpillar to make its escape. The trick works so well that this species thrives, avoiding the fate of so many other defenseless insects. This level of mimicry is rare. Many insects use camouflage, but few can shift their entire appearance to look like an entirely different creature. It's a perfect example of how evolution fine-tunes survival skills in the Amazon's relentless fight for survival. Every animal here has to be one step ahead, and the Hemeroplanes triptolamus proves that sometimes the best defense is a good disguise. Deep in the heart of the Amazon, hidden beneath the thick canopy where few dare to venture, whispers of a terrifying beast have been passed down for generations. The Mapinguari, a creature so strange and fearsome that even hardened jungle explorers hesitate to dismiss the stories. This is no ordinary myth. Witnesses, hunters, villagers, even scientists have described something massive, something unnatural. The creature is said to stand over 7 feet tall, covered in thick, matted fur. Some say it resembles a giant sloth, while others insist it walks like a man, leaving behind enormous footprints in the jungle mud. But the most disturbing part? Its mouth. Not where you'd expect, but on its stomach, lined with jagged teeth. Those who claim to have seen it say it lets out a blood-curdling roar that echoes for miles. Legend has it that the Mapinguari is nearly impossible to kill. Bullets supposedly bounce off its thick hide, and arrows barely slow it down. Some believe it's a surviving ground sloth, a prehistoric beast that was supposed to have vanished thousands of years ago. Others say it's a guardian of the forest, punishing those who harm the jungle. Despite countless searches, no hard evidence has been found. But deep in the Amazon, where new species are still being discovered every year, who's to say something this bizarre couldn't exist? Whether the Mapinguari is a lost relic of the past or just an eerie legend, one thing is certain: the rainforest is still full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. In the murky waters of the Amazon, where the river swallows the jungle in its endless currents, lurks a true giant, the green anaconda, the heaviest snake on Earth. It moves silently beneath the surface, waiting. Unlike most snakes that rely on venom, this beast needs only its sheer power. It coils around its prey with crushing force, squeezing until there's no escape. And just look at this. A fisherman, deep in the Amazon, lifting what seems like an impossible catch, a massive anaconda draped over his shoulders. This isn't fiction. Locals who share the river with these creatures have stories that would make anyone think twice before wading into these waters. Some anacondas grow well over 500 pounds, stretching more than 25 feet long, as thick as a grown man's waist. Despite their monstrous size, they remain masters of stealth. A fully grown anaconda can stay submerged for nearly 10 minutes, waiting for an unsuspecting meal. Capybaras, caimans, even jaguars have fallen victim. But here's the most surprising part. These giants aren't the ruthless predators many believe them to be. They rarely pose a threat to humans, preferring to stay hidden in the depths of the rainforest rivers. Legends speak of anacondas even bigger than science has recorded, serpents so massive they could capsize boats. But whether these behemoths are real or just jungle folklore, one thing is certain: the Amazon belongs to the anaconda, a ruler of the water unlike any other. The Amazon is full of creatures that crawl, swim, and even fly. But what if the trees could move too? Deep in the rainforest, there's a species of palm that locals swear can walk to find a better place to grow. It's called the Socratia exoriza, better known as the walking palm. At first it seems like any other tree, but at its base, long, stilt-like roots stretch outward, almost like legs. These aren't just for show. When the tree senses a lack of sunlight or the ground becomes unstable, it can slowly shift its position by growing new roots in one direction, while abandoning the old ones. Some scientists argue that this movement is too slow to be significant, but others believe it allows the tree to inch toward a more favorable spot, something almost unheard of in the plant world. Imagine an entire forest of trees that, over time, shuffle through the jungle like a silent migration. And speaking of plants that defy expectations, let's talk about one that changed the course of human history. Hidden among the dense Amazonian greenery grows a tree with a secret locked inside its fruit. A secret that would one day become one of the world's most beloved foods. Long before it filled candy bars and fancy desserts, chocolate had a very different role. The first cacao trees sprouted not in Mexico or Central America, but deep in the Amazon basin. These trees produced pods filled with bitter seeds that indigenous tribes learned to use in powerful ways. Long before sugar was introduced, the beans were ground and mixed with water to create an energizing, almost mystical drink. Some Amazonian cultures believed cacao had spiritual properties, using it in rituals and ceremonies. When the Mayans and Aztecs later adopted it, they called it the drink of the gods, but its origins trace back to the humid rainforest where the first cacao pods ever ripened. Cacao is still harvested in the Amazon today, but it shares the jungle with another plant, one far less sweet and far more dangerous. This next plant has been responsible for both death and salvation. For centuries, warriors and hunters have coated their weapons with a substance so potent it can take down a full-grown jaguar in seconds. Some of the most feared weapons in the Amazon aren't made of steel. They come straight from the rainforest itself. Deep in the jungle grows Chondrodendron tomentosum, a vine that seems unremarkable at first glance, but the sap extracted from its leaves and bark is anything but harmless. Indigenous tribes discovered long ago that curare, as it's called, could paralyze prey instantly. Darts tipped with this toxin could bring down monkeys, birds, and even large animals with terrifying efficiency. Once in the bloodstream, curare blocks the connection between the brain and muscles, causing paralysis until the victim can no longer breathe. For centuries, curare was feared. But in a strange twist, what was once a deadly weapon became a medical breakthrough. Scientists studying curare's effects found ways to use it in controlled doses during surgeries, helping patients undergo complex procedures without unnecessary pain or movement. A poison turned into a lifesaver. The Amazon has a way of surprising even the experts, and it's not just the plants and animals that hold secrets. Beneath the forest floor, hidden under thick layers of vegetation, lies something even more astonishing, proof that ancient civilizations once thrived in places we never imagined. For centuries, people believed the Amazon was untouched wilderness, a place where only scattered indigenous tribes had ever lived. But recent discoveries tell a different story, one that rewrites history. Beneath the thick jungle canopy, archaeologists have uncovered massive ancient cities hidden for centuries. Using LiDAR technology, which scans through vegetation to reveal structures below, scientists have mapped out enormous urban centers complete with roads, plazas, and intricate drainage systems. Some of these ruins belong to the Kuhikugu civilization, a vast society that may have supported hundreds of thousands of people. These were not simple villages but well-planned metropolises, built long before European explorers set foot in South America. What makes this discovery even more mind-blowing is how fast nature reclaimed these lost cities. Unlike the stone pyramids of the Maya or the Incas, Amazonian civilizations built much of their infrastructure from wood and earth, materials that quickly disappeared under relentless jungle growth. The Amazon itself helped hide their existence, erasing their cities from sight but not from history. Now, with new discoveries being made every year, scientists are realizing that the Amazon was not always the untamed wilderness they once thought. It was home to sophisticated cultures that found ways to thrive in an environment that still challenges modern survival. Even today, the jungle continues to reveal its hidden wonders, not just underground but also in the very plants that float on its surface. A floating leaf doesn't seem like it could hold much weight, but in the Amazon, even plants can defy expectations. Victoria amazonica, the giant water lily, is unlike anything found in an ordinary pond. Its enormous circular leaves can grow up to 10 feet across, making them some of the largest floating leaves in the world. The real shock comes when you see just how strong they are. Incredibly, these leaves can support the weight of a child, or even a small adult, without sinking. How is this possible? The secret lies in their hidden air pockets and an intricate rib-like structure underneath, which evenly distributes weight across the surface. This natural engineering is so effective that scientists have studied it for applications in lightweight architecture and floating structures. Beyond their sheer size, these lilies are also masters of survival. Their massive leaves outcompete other aquatic plants for sunlight, blocking them from growing. At night, the flowers bloom in a spectacular display, changing from white to pink within 48 hours. This color shift is a clever trick to attract beetles, which pollinate them before the flowers sink back beneath the water. The Amazon is full of surprises, from trees that walk to plants that can hold a child, but not all of its wonders lie above the surface. Beneath the murky waters where the Amazon River meets the Atlantic, a breathtaking hidden world has been discovered, one that no one believed could exist. For decades, scientists thought the mouth of the Amazon River was a terrible place for coral reefs. With so much sediment pouring into the ocean, the conditions seemed too harsh for anything delicate to survive. But in 2016, an entirely new ecosystem was discovered beneath the waves. A sprawling coral reef that had gone unnoticed for centuries. Stretching over 600 miles, this underwater paradise is unlike any other reef on Earth. Instead of thriving in clear, sunlit waters, these corals have adapted to live in low-light, nutrient-rich environments, surviving in conditions that would normally kill coral elsewhere. What makes this reef even more fascinating is its unique marine life. Researchers have already identified species never seen before, including new types of sponges, fish, and even bacteria that may have pharmaceutical potential. But despite its stunning beauty and scientific importance, the Amazon reef faces a serious threat. Oil companies have been pushing to drill in the region, putting this delicate ecosystem at risk before we've even begun to understand it. The Amazon is full of surprises, from giant trees that move to hidden cities buried beneath the jungle. But even in the depths of the ocean, it continues to reveal secrets no one expected. Most people think of termites as tiny, destructive insects, but in the Amazon, they are something far more impressive. Here, these creatures don't just build nests. They construct massive cities that can tower over 20 feet high, standing taller than most people. These towering mounds, built from hardened soil, saliva, and organic matter, are among the most impressive natural engineering feats on Earth. They aren't just random piles of dirt. Inside, they have a complex network of tunnels, ventilation shafts, and farming chambers, where termites cultivate their own fungal crops for food. Each mound functions like a self-sustaining metropolis, housing millions of termites that work together with absolute precision. Some of these structures are thousands of years old, meaning the same termite colonies have been active for centuries, carefully maintaining their homes. The layout is so efficient that architects have studied termite mounds for inspiration in designing sustainable buildings that regulate temperature naturally, just like the termites do. And here's something even more shocking. Scientists recently discovered an area in Brazil covered with over 200 million termite mounds, spread across a landmass as large as Great Britain. These towering structures had gone unnoticed for centuries, hidden beneath the forest canopy. The Amazon never ceases to amaze, and some of its biggest mysteries can only be seen from above. For centuries, stories of strange shapes carved into the earth have circulated among local tribes, but it wasn't until satellite imagery became widespread that their full scale was revealed. Over 450 massive geoglyphs, some forming perfect circles, squares, and intricate patterns, have been discovered beneath the Amazon rainforest. These ancient earthworks, known as geoglyphs, stretch across northern Brazil and Bolivia, hidden for centuries under dense vegetation. Some of them are over 2,000 years old, built by civilizations whose identities remain largely unknown. Unlike the famous Nazca lines in Peru, which were etched into desert plains, these geoglyphs were carefully shaped by clearing and rearranging soil, creating large-scale designs that could only be fully appreciated from above. The real mystery? No one knows exactly why they were built. Some believe they had ceremonial purposes, others think they marked important gathering sites, and some researchers suggest they could have been used for astronomical observations. What's even more astonishing is that their discovery challenges the long-held belief that the Amazon was untouched wilderness before European contact. These massive formations suggest that advanced civilizations once thrived here, shaping the land in ways we are only beginning to understand. But while some ancient civilizations left behind visible clues to their existence, others remain hidden, entirely separate from modern society. Deep within the Amazon rainforest, Where even seasoned explorers fear to tread, there are people who have never had contact with the outside world. They live as their ancestors did hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, hunting, fishing, and gathering from the land without any influence from modern civilization. These are the uncontacted tribes of the Amazon, some of the last truly isolated human societies on Earth. It's estimated that over 100 such tribes still exist, mostly in Brazil and Peru, avoiding contact for various reasons, often out of fear of disease, violence, or destruction brought by outsiders. The first glimpses of some of these tribes came from aerial footage, showing small groups of people staring up at planes or drones in shock, clearly unfamiliar with technology. Others were discovered only when loggers or poachers stumbled too close to their territories. Governments and conservation groups have since worked to protect these communities by declaring no-contact zones, restricting outsiders from entering their land. But their survival remains fragile. Illegal logging, land grabbing, and drug trafficking continue to push deeper into the jungle, threatening their way of life. Despite living in isolation, these tribes hold a wealth of knowledge about the rainforest, from medicinal plants to survival skills that modern science is only beginning to understand. They are living proof that humanity has found ways to adapt to the most extreme environments on Earth. High in the Andes Mountains, thousands of feet above sea level, scientists have made a discovery that seems impossible: fossilized fish embedded in the rock. These aren't just any fish. They are ancient Amazonian species that lived millions of years ago in a time when the Amazon was not a rainforest but part of a massive inland sea. The very idea that fish, which once swam in warm tropical waters, are now locked in stone on mountaintops is mind-blowing. But it holds the key to a massive shift in Earth's history. Long before the Amazon River existed, much of what is now the rainforest was submerged beneath an enormous prehistoric wetland connected to the Caribbean. The fish fossils found in the Andes prove that this region was once underwater. Over millions of years, as tectonic plates shifted and the Andes began to rise, the land was lifted, cutting off the Amazon from the sea. As a result, the freshwater systems we see today, including the Amazon River, were formed, forcing marine species to either adapt or disappear. This ancient transformation shaped the Amazon into what it is today, a world teeming with creatures that seem to defy the rules of evolution. And some of these creatures are so bizarre that they look like something from another planet. In the thick shadows of the Amazon's dense foliage, a tiny creature sits motionless on a leaf. It might go unnoticed at first, but if you look closely, you'll see something strange. This frog is almost completely transparent. Meet the glass frog, a species with skin so clear that you can see its heart beating inside its chest. Everything from its intestines to its tiny bones is visible beneath the delicate green surface, making it one of nature's most unusual amphibians. But why does it look like this? Scientists believe transparency helps the glass frog evade predators. When it sits on a leaf, light passes through its body, making it blend almost perfectly with its surroundings. This natural camouflage is so effective that even skilled predators struggle to spot it. Some species of glass frogs take it a step further, covering their bright red hearts with a reflective layer when they sleep, becoming even harder to detect. Despite their ghostly appearance, these frogs play an important role in the ecosystem. They thrive near clean, fast-moving streams, and their presence often signals a healthy rainforest. But with deforestation and pollution threatening their habitats, glass frogs are becoming harder to find. In the Amazon, survival is a constant challenge. And not just for animals, some parts of the jungle itself seem just as dangerous. Deep in the Peruvian rainforest, there's a river so hot that anything that falls into it gets cooked alive. A river that boils like a pot of water on a stove. It sounds like something out of mythology. But in the Peruvian Amazon, this strange phenomenon is completely real. Known as the Chane Timpishka, or boiling river, this steaming body of water reaches temperatures over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to kill any animal unlucky enough to fall in. Birds, lizards, and even larger creatures like monkeys have been found. Their bodies literally cooked by the heat. Unlike most hot springs, which are found near volcanic activity, this river is hundreds of miles away from any volcano. That left scientists puzzled for years. Where is the heat coming from? Research eventually revealed that the river is heated by geothermal activity deep underground, where superheated water rises through cracks in the Earth's surface, spilling into the river and turning it into a natural cauldron. The boiling river is sacred to local indigenous communities who have long believed it holds mystical powers. Shamans use its waters in traditional medicine, and the surrounding rainforest is filled with medicinal plants that have been part of their healing practices for generations. It's yet another example of the Amazon's ability to surprise and mystify, revealing the unexpected at every turn. Even in the rivers, strange and unusual creatures lurk, some with teeth that look eerily familiar. The Amazon is home to some of the most terrifying fish in the world, but few are as unsettling as the pacu. At first glance it looks like a close relative of the piranha with a broad, powerful body and sharp fins. But then, it opens its mouth, and what you see is deeply disturbing. Instead of the needle-like fangs of a piranha, pacu fish have square, human-like teeth, eerily similar to the ones in your own mouth. Why does a fish need teeth like that? Unlike its carnivorous piranha cousins, the pacu is primarily a plant eater, crushing nuts and seeds that fall from trees into the water. Its strong flat teeth help it grind through tough shells and fibrous plant material. However, pacu aren't completely harmless. In rare cases they have been known to bite fishermen who handle them carelessly, leading to some wild and often exaggerated stories about their supposed aggressiveness. Despite their creepy appearance, pacu fish play an important role in the Amazon's ecosystem. Their diet helps disperse seeds, acting as an important link between the forest and the rivers. But they've also become a problem outside the Amazon. Released into waterways around the world by accident, pacu have spread to places like the US, where they've shocked anglers who weren't expecting a fish with a mouth full of human-like teeth. The Amazon never runs out of ways to surprise. From fossilized sea creatures in the mountains to boiling rivers, transparent frogs and fish that look strangely human, it's a place where evolution pushes the limits of what's possible. And with so much of it still unexplored, who knows what other secrets are waiting to be uncovered. That's about it. Write in the comments which Amazon facts surprised you the most. For more useful information, watch other videos.